The Formula One world is currently facing a massive upheaval that has shaken the paddock to its core, even before the first race in Melbourne. We are in February 2026, and as the cars scream across the Bahrain International Circuit for pre-season testing, the air is thick with accusations of cheating, secret alliances, and technical espionage. What started as a whisper in the back of the pits has now become a full-scale engine war. Today, we're going deeper than ever before into the A8001 thermal secret, a loophole so clever that it has forced the FIA into an emergency session and caused a betrayal that no one saw coming. Red Bull switching sides to join Ferrari and Honda. To understand why this is a crisis, we have to look at the 2026 technical regulations. For this new era, the FIA mandated a drop in the engine compression ratio from 18C1 down to a maximum of 16C1. This wasn't just a random number. It was designed to make the engines compatible with 100% sustainable fuels and to ensure that newcomers like Audi and Ford weren't immediately left behind by legacy manufacturers. But Mercedes' High Performance Powertrains in Brixworth, the same geniuses who designed the dominant 2014 hybrid, found a grey area in Article C5.4.3. The rule states that the compression ratio is measured at ambient temperature. This means when the car is cold, sitting in the garage, it must be 16C1. But the rules say nothing about what happens when that engine is screaming at 12,000 RPM. Rumors from high-level technical insiders suggest Mercedes has developed a revolutionary combustion chamber using shape, memory alloys, and advanced metallurgy. When the engine is cold, the piston and cylinder head geometry sit at a legal 16:1. But as soon as the car hits 300 km and internal temperatures soar, these materials undergo a microscopic physical expansion. This expansion is so precise that it reduces the volume of the combustion chamber at the top of the piston stroke, effectively restoring the compression ratio back to 18:1 during the race. This ghost power is estimated to be worth 15 to 20 horsepower. In modern F1, that is nearly 0.4 seconds per lap. If this stands, Mercedes won't just win, they will disappear into another zip code. For months, it was believed that Red Bull Powertrains was also using this trick. Christian Horner had been unusually quiet, leading many to believe they had found the same loophole. But during this week's Power Unit Advisory Committee meeting, the bombshell dropped: Red Bull has officially switched sides. Reports indicate that Red Bull has now signed a joint letter with Ferrari, Honda and Audi, demanding the FIA ban the thermal trick immediately. Why the U-turn? Insiders say Red Bull's own version of the system was unstable. Their engines were literally knocking themselves to pieces on the test bench, while Mercedes has perfected the reliability. Now, Red Bull would rather see the technology banned than start the 2026 season a second a lap behind their old rivals. FIA Technical Director Nicolas Tombazis is now in a nightmare scenario. A new proposal for hot static testing has been drafted. This would require engines to be pre-heated to race simulated temperatures before being measured. But there's a catch. The homologation deadline is March 1st. The engines are already built. If the FIA forces a redesign now, Mercedes and their customers, McLaren, Williams, and Alpine, would have to redesign their entire cylinder head architecture in less than 2 weeks. It would be a technical catastrophe that could see half the grid starting the season with detuned engines, effectively handing the 2026 title to Ferrari on a silver platter. The human drama is just as intense. Lewis Hamilton, who just made his historic move to Ferrari, is reportedly stunned by the telemetry data coming out of the Mercedes garage. If the Silver Arrows have truly built another or rocket engine, Hamilton might have to watch George Russell and Kimi Antonelli celebrate the title he left behind. Meanwhile, Toto Wolff remains defiant. In a recent press briefing, he slammed his rivals, telling them to get their shitty together, but with a supermajority of 5 manufacturers now against them. Mercedes is fighting a war on 2 fronts, one on the track and one in the courtrooms of Paris. This leads to a massive question for the fans. As the sun sets over the Bahrain desert, one thing is certain. The 2026 season has already begun, and it's the dirtiest fight we've seen in decades. The telemetry from the first pre-season tests is already telling a scary story. While Max Verstappen's Red Bull looks balanced, the Mercedes W17 is showing unnatural top speeds. Telemetry data leaked to the press suggests that while other engines are clipping and losing power at the end of the straights, the Mercedes engine just keeps pulling. This has led to concerns from customer teams who are caught in the middle, benefiting from the power but terrified of a potential disqualification. Will the FIA have the guts to ban the loophole and risk a legal war, or will they let Mercedes dominate for another decade? Do you think Mercedes' thermal trick is a work of genius or a bridge too far? Is the Red Bull Ferrari alliance a sign of genuine concern for the sport, or just a desperate attempt to slow down a superior team? Drop your theories in the comments below. This is history in the making! Stay tuned for more updates as the homologation deadline approaches.